Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is Birch and Lily, where I talk all about the knitting and cross stitch that I have worked on over the past couple weeks. I alternate between knitting and cross stitch videos, and today is a cross stitch video. Today is September 21st, 2020. I don't have any finished objects this episode. I do have a couple works in progress that I have worked on, and I also have two new projects that the fabric just came in today, so I thought I would show those to you and the threads and kind of give you a peek at what I might be starting this week. So before we jump on in, there are two places that you can find me on the internet. The first is on Instagram at birch.and.lily, and the second is on Ravelry at birchandlily. So yeah, let's jump right on in. I've been on a real large sampler size project kick, so I have a lot of those to show you this episode. The first project that I have been working on a lot is a Saviour's Praise. This is a pattern by Shakespeare's Peddler. So I know I always show these bags to you, and if you've been watching me for a while, you'll have seen them thousands of times, but a Saviour's Praise is in this bag by Pretty Southern. It does have a vinyl front to it. I prefer the vinyl front bags just because I can see which project is inside of the bag a lot easier. So that's really the only reason. So with this project, I am using all of the called for threads, and I am stitching on the called for fabric, I think, as well. I'm using 40 count Beach Brew. I know it's Beach Brew, but maybe it calls for a different count. I will check. Yes, it does call for 40 count Beach Brew, so I am using the called for fabric and threads for this project. So my threads are never neat like Nicole from Nicole's Needlework, but this gives you a little bit of a peek of all of those called for threads. And yeah, like I said, I have this on 40 count Beach Brew, and I've got quite a bit done since the last time you guys saw this. I actually basically have a page finish. I say basically because there's a couple things I've skipped just because I'm not sure what I want to put there yet. But let me give you a look. So this is where I am. So what I mean by not having some stuff done, around this basket, well, it doesn't look like a basket yet, but it will be a basket. There are some initials, and I haven't decided if I want to do the ones that the patterns say or if I want to adjust it and do initials of people close to me. And if I want to do initials of people close to me, I need to sit down and figure out how many initials there are there, who I want to put, all that fun stuff. So I haven't done that just yet. I figured I'd move on to the next page and get started on that and give that a little bit of a think until I've decided. But yeah, last time, honestly, I don't even think I was down into, here, let me fold this. This will help a little bit. I don't even think I was down into this section yet. I think I was still just working a little bit on the alphabet and mostly just the border. I love this border. It's very detailed. There's a lot of color changes, but it looks so beautiful. It's got all of the different fruits of the spirit going around the border. This has, or will have, flowers in it. And yeah, the alphabet changes colors the whole way through. It's very, how do I put it? I don't even know how to describe it. It's not uniform, I guess. There's lots of color changes that you wouldn't expect, things like that. And I've really been liking that. Yeah. Don't know what else to say. So I have a massive piece of fabric for this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have about half of it left, which is exciting because that will give me space to start something else on later. But yeah, this is Saviour's Praise. If you haven't started this yet, I would recommend if you feel like doing another sampler, because this has been really fun. So yeah, that did get a lot of my attention over the past couple weeks. Definitely one of my favorites out of everything that I've worked on. I did work on a couple other projects though, so let's jump into another one of those. This one is a Shepherd's Song by Plum Street Samplers. Again, I have a Pretty Southern bag. It's a vinyl fronted one as well. So for this project, I am using all of the called for threads, and I am stitching this up on 40 count winter brew. The pattern calls for, I think, 36 count hog bristle, but at the time that I kit this up, it was very hard to find, and I had some winter brew in my stash, and it worked pretty dang well with the threads. At least that's what I thought. So I started it on this fabric instead. So yeah, these are all of the called for threads for this project. And I don't think I've done tons, but it looks like I've done tons. A lot of what I've done is fill in the past 2 weeks. Oops, that's upside down. So this project has a ton of fill in. So I worked a lot on the house. I did the grass as well. I probably put about 4 strands of floss into the grass. I am stitching this 1/2. The previous project is also 1/2. Anything that I stitch on 40 count, I do 1/2. So if I forget to say that, that is what I'm doing. But yeah, I did a lot of the grass. I think I put maybe a strand or 2 into the house as well. And then I started working on the flowers on the border. I had kind of put those off. So I started outlining all of them. I have a couple more to do here at the top. It's so weird talking with my face covered. Not that it's any different than having a mask on, but it still feels weird. Apologies that it is so large. Yeah, so working on the flowers, I think I want to work and try and get all of those finished before I move on to anything else, because borders can be boring. And if I can get through the border now, makes my life easier and leaves more fun things for me to do later. The other thing that I should really get done after the border before I move on, right down in this section, there is some overrun words to stitch, so I should definitely get those out of the way as well, because I'm not the biggest fan of overrun. But I have, yeah, a couple more sheep on this side. Yeah, trees. I think the shepherdess, it is a shepherdess. I think she's over there as well to do. But yeah, I'm really flying on this. This is definitely a favorite as well. My mom is working on this project as well. A couple episodes back, maybe 1, maybe 2, I'm not sure. I showed her progress on this pattern as well. She tries to send me in some photos every once in a while so you guys can see. She is stitching this up on an Aida, so I like to show it for that reason as well, to show that you can totally adjust things to make anything work on Aida if you want to. So yeah, I love this project. I love working on it with my mom. It's so fun to see each other's progress, and she's working on different areas that I haven't even started yet, so that's really fun as well. Okay, next I have something seasonal that I have not worked on in forever, probably a year to be honest. This is Halloween Squirrel. It's a pattern by the Blue Flower. I am working my way through all of the squirrel season themed patterns that the Blue Flower has. I have finished Summer Squirrel, and this is the other one that I've started. There's still, I think, Spring, Fall, and Winter Squirrel. Maybe more to come. I hope more to come because they are adorable. But this is the Halloween Squirrel. This is another pretty southern bag, my Halloween themed bag. And I'm stitching this up on both the called for fabric and with the called for threads. If I can do that, that is the way I like to do it, because it takes all of the thinking out of my head and I know it will look nice. Because I can second guess myself a lot on projects like this, and I don't want to rip it out 1,000 times because I don't like what I picked. So yeah, here are the threads. This project doesn't call for too many, which is nice. I appreciate that. There are 2 other DMCs, but they are floating somewhere in the bottom of this bag, so I'm not going to pull them out. But yeah, not too many colors. Don't mind my loose thread there, but oh, I have 2 loose threads. But this is where I am. So the last time you guys would have seen this, if you've been watching me for that long, if you have, thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. But I would have had, I think, nothing past this point done. So I have put in the Dracula squirrel and I've put his hand and stuff in. I did also, I don't think this basket had all of the acorns in it yet, so I did fill that in. This tiny pumpkin is new, and I have worked on the border some. So decent amount of progress. This is really not big. Like if I hold it beside my head, it's pretty tiny. But it's really fun and it's really cute, and I think I tell this story every single time, but the main reason I am stitching these up, where my husband and I live, there is an abundance of squirrels, so many squirrels. And we've always jokingly called our house the squirrel sanctuary, because we have lots of woods in behind us and stuff, so they all live in there. But I figured the squirrel sanctuary needs some squirrel cross stitch, so that is kind of why I'm making these. They're cute though too, so obviously that's another reason, but I'm loving this so much. I know some of you are excited for me to pull this out again, so hopefully I can get it done before this Halloween. We'll see. So, one final project that I've worked on in the past 2 weeks. This is the Berry Bowl Sampler. It is a pattern by Heartstring, Samplery, and the Scarlett house. They did collaborate on this and each do half of the pattern, which is really neat. I am stitching this up with all of the called for threads, and I'm using one of the called for fabrics. The pattern, which you'll see in the picture that I have popped up or will pop up, is actually stitched on 2 different pieces of linen, and then those pieces of linen are stitched together. I'm not doing that. I'm just doing it all in one piece to keep it nice and simple. So it is in this beautiful bag. This is from the Sag and Stitch on Etsy. And it is also a vinyl front, and it has this really cute zipper pull, but it's very jingly. So I try to cover it up as much as I can. Is what it is. Anyways, called for threads for this project. Lots of bright, pretty pinks and blues and yellows, green. Love the colors. And the fabric that I am using, I don't think I said, is the 36 count Wren that the pattern calls for. I did have this on hand in my stash, so it was perfect. Meant to be. So again, I'm pretty much halfway done. Finished almost. I say almost because again, there are some words and some initials. There's supposed to be one right here, and I think there's an initial. No. What goes there? I don't know. I can't even tell where I'm looking. Oh, right there. No, nothing goes there. Goodness. There is supposed to be an initial here, and there is some 1/1 words in the middle here, but I have not done either of those yet. But this whole side was the side that was designed by Heartstring Samplery, Beth Twist. And so now I am working on the side that was designed by the Scarlett house. So let me fold this in half so I can kind of show you guys close up. So this is new, this basket here. I finished up the basket for this berry bowl, did this whole one. What else did I do? Yeah, finished this whole portion. All of this top stuff was done already. And then I started on a couple different bowls over here. So yeah, I feel like I'm making a lot of progress. I do think I've learned from this that I still prefer 40 count, mostly just because of the coverage of the thread, because I stitch 1/2 on 36 count and 40 count. I find 2/2 on 36 is way too thick for me, but I still don't like the coverage with one strand. I wish I could do like 1.5, but that is not a thing. But yeah, the coverage just isn't the same for me as it is 1/2 on 40 count. I'm sure you can tell kind of in like the black and stuff there that you can see the fabric through. Not the end of the world. I still really, really like this project. It's beautiful. I'm so excited to find a place for it. I'm thinking somewhere around the kitchen. Kind of seems like a kitchen-y project. Berry bowls? I don't know. I work on all this stuff and I have no idea where I want to put it. And then I find a frame for it and hope I can find a spot for it. I don't know. I have in that bag back there actually a couple frames that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. I went and took in some of my stitching with me physically and held it up to the frames and picked out a couple that I liked. I have some more projects still that aren't framed though that I still need to find something for, but I need to get my button gear and get some of these stitching pieces framed because I finished them and they just hang up in my closet, which isn't great. But I am definitely more of a process stitcher than I am a finished project stitcher. I like working on it. It's really fun. And then I finish it. I'm like, okay, cool. What's next? So I need to get some stuff framed. Hopefully those frames sitting there will give me a little bit of ambition to work on some stuff. We'll see. So yeah, that is all that I have worked on the past 2 weeks. But like I said, I had some fabric come in today for 2 different projects that I want to start that I'm very excited about. They are both by Teresa Kogut, actually. They came out this past March at market, and they've been sitting in my stash, and I've wanted to start them for so long, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to get the called for fabric. It was out of stock constantly. And I was just humming and hawing, and I finally just ordered some different fabric, and I'm so excited to get these started. So the first one here, this is Heaven and Nature. It's a beautiful, like, I think I could leave this up all year. It doesn't seem super Christmassy. The only super Christmassy part of it is these trees with the stars on top. But I think otherwise it's pretty neutral. I think I could get away with it, but I don't know, I love this so much. Like, yes, this little raccoon is totally what sold me. Oh, my face is so close. This little raccoon is totally what sold me, but there's also like the little deer and the owl on the deer's butt. I don't know, it's so cute. I love this so much. So this is one of the projects that I'll be starting. I'll show you the fabric in a second. And then the other one that I really want to start is Pet All the Dogs. You guys, if you've been watching for a while, would know that a year ago now, almost, we got a corgi puppy, and I love her so much. And now I just want all the dog themed things. And this, I find, is very subtly dog themed. So I really like that. Like, it looks like any typical sampler that I'd work on. But then it's got all the dogs across the bottom, and it says Pet All the Dogs. So I really, really like this one as well, and I'm excited to start it. If you're not a dog person, if you're a cat person, she also charted in here to change it to say hug all the cats, and then charted some little kitties to go across the bottom instead. So this is totally doable if you like cats as well. So what I'm holding here is a mix of the floss for both of the projects. But gives you an idea. They both kind of have the same color scheme. Anyways, what I ended up doing was purchasing all of the DMC for both of these projects. And then what I'm gonna do, I think, is go through, I have a collection of overdyes that like half used or not used at all or whatever. So I'm gonna go through and hold these up to some of those, and then maybe swap some of these DMC for overdyes in both of those projects. It's kind of what I'm thinking, but so many pretty colors. So yeah, I'm gonna have to sit in here and kind of fiddle for a little bit and figure out what I want to do with that, but I do have all the DMC, so I can start very soon. And then linen is expensive. I think we all know linen is expensive, but the most affordable linen that 123 Stitch has is Mallow linen. It's actually what I'm using for his eyes on the sparrow. That's what I was looking for. It's what I'm using for his eyes on the sparrow by Heartstring Samplery, and I really like it. So I decided to just order Mallow for both of these. It's really neutral. If a color doesn't work on it, it's pretty darn easy to switch something out so that it shows up easier, but I think most of them should be fine on it. So I'm going to be doing both of these on 40 count because that was what I like. Yeah, this linen is wonderful. I would say, like, if you compared it to an R&R or something, it's not as soft, but once you start working with it and like the heat of your hands gets to it, it softens up and it's exactly the same. So this is Mallow linen. Yeah, like, look how pretty that looks. I think it should work perfectly. So I want to start both of them tonight. I know I shouldn't. We'll see what I end up doing, but those are both in my radar to start very soon, and I'm so excited. And yeah, that's all I have to show you guys this episode. Let me know, are you still enjoying the short episodes? Are you still enjoying everything split up between the knitting and cross stitch? Did you prefer them smushed together into one video? Let me know what you think. I've been doing this for a little while now. I know I like it because editing is a lot easier because the videos are shorter, But if you like the longer videos, I'm happy to put them together again too. It's totally up to you guys. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here and you made it all the way through, please consider subscribing. It helps me out a lot. If you like the video as well and ring the little bell down below, that helps get my video out to everyone, and it helps me a lot so that I can make more videos for you guys. The little bell does give you notifications every time I upload. YouTube is kind of bad at telling you when my videos go up, so that helps you out a little bit. I do upload though, if you don't want to do that. Doesn't matter to me. But I do upload every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. I alternate between knitting and cross stitch videos every week. And yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining me. If you're new, if you're old, it means a lot. I love it so much. I love doing this for you guys. So thank you so much. And I will see you again next week for a knitting video. Bye.